For more than 30 years, François has actively participated in software and systems engineering standards development. This award honors his long-time service using diplomacy and facilitation to achieve international standardization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. François Coallier.
It's not easy to work with a large and diverse group of international people who come with varying perspectives and interests and clashes in getting the work done and have different viewpoints on what's the right thing to do. And one thing that François has always succeeded in doing is building consensus. He does it by first making sure that everybody can agree or have a common understanding of what the vision is of where we're trying to go, what we want to achieve. Then he asks people who are working in conflict or maybe in competition to think about what is it that we can agree on. Are there some basic points of agreement? From there we can go on to explore the differences and see which of the differences can be turned into something where if everybody doesn't get everything they want, they at least get enough to satisfy what are the basic needs that they needed to get from that particular problem or situation.
I've been recognized for my contribution to standard, and I think more precisely international standard in software and system engineering. And essentially, I started working, contributing, I should say, to standards in 1984 on an IEEE project called Verification and Validation, and from then on to many other projects that IEEE had, the IEEE Computer Society had, to standardize the body of knowledge, I would say, in good practice in software engineering. And through a series of, I would say, circumstance, I don't know if it's the right English term, but I became the secretary of the ISO subcommittee, joint ISO and IEC to be more precise, subcommittee that was initially, their mandate was initially standardization in software engineering. This was in '93. And in '97, I became the chair of this committee, and the committee started to change its mandate, changed to software and systems engineering, because software is always part of a larger systems. And through time, it took some work also in areas such as IT service management, IT governance, and those areas were spin off in a new subcommittee 2 years ago.
When I first became involved with IEEE and ISO standards, he was the chair for this area and has been ever since. So he certainly set the model and the example for international cooperation and the art of building consensus and developing international standards.
It started because I was working in a new department, and I was working in a company, an industry in those days, and the new department was called Software Quality Assurance. And the role was to do essentially risk assessment because telephone companies in those days were starting to buy a lot of what they call operational support systems, software system to manage the network. And also the network became more and more rich in embedded software system. So in this group that was part of the purchasing department, the company was Bell Canada, I joined, and I was a second member to join the group. And the leader of the group had started a very nice approach to be able to convince our supplier to adopt good practice. It's to participate in the standardization of those good practice. So this is, I became involved in standards because when you go to a standard meeting and you're young in the area, you contribute, but you learn. You learn a lot. You learn also how to become confident in yourself. because now you can debate topics very professionally with people that have been in the area for a long time. So when I was visiting after that the vendor, I felt very contented myself when I was talking about telling them what good practice they should have in place so we could have a better business relationship with them.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to have received this award. It was quite a surprise when I received the notification that I was awarded this prize.
He always has a vision of where we're going in the future. The field of systems and software engineering works because we have principles that can be repeated in processes so that both the person who's acquiring services in this area and the people who are doing the services understand what processes are going to be followed. And those don't change very rapidly. As the CIO of a technical university and earlier as a professor in this area, he has the vision and the insight of where the industry is going, where the profession is going.
As it was mentioned, developing standards is both a technical and I would say a social challenge. And I have to thank all the people, the wonderful people that worked with me over those many years to help achieve all those nice things that was said about me.
Yes, I had a mentor. We all have many mentors. There's one that I'm very fond of that helped me, in a sense, start as a secretary and then chair of the International Subcommittee. He was from IEEE and the head of the also U.S. delegation, and his name was Leonard Tripp. And he was also, I think he's considered as the father of the SWEBOC that initiated the project. And he was telling me that his motivation was to make a difference. And I think it's the way I see it. The work I'm doing in standards, doing with a lot of other people. I mean, you don't do it alone. It's teamwork. It's a way to make a difference and to contribute to our society.
These are pretty amazing contributions to come from one person over an extended period, working with people from many different countries and liaison organizations with their own interest in the standards like IEEE. And the way he's done it is perhaps more successfully than I could think of in almost any other standards area that I'm aware of.
It's really a teamwork going across personalities, which is, I think, what's the most important, but also the background and culture.
I've been a member for a long time, and I was very active, a bit less since I went to ISO, but still dealing a lot with the IEEE Computer Society. And I saw it become more and more international. I saw it develop itself. It supported some great projects, at least in my area. So I'm very happy when I was a student in engineering to have become a member of IEEE.
In 1984, I remember still, in May 1984, when I walked in, I was a very, very young engineer. And I walked into this room where there was in New Orleans, where there was a IEEE working group meeting elaborating Standard 1012. And I was adopted by the group, and especially by Roger Fuji. And I learned my first rope about what is standardization.
Essentially, I would say that I'm very honored to have received the prize. This award, I should say. Excuse me, I'm speaking French. I'm very honored to have received this award.
But my thanks also to all the wonderful people I work with. Thank you.